it's Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today because I am using something today that I've not really used a whole lot. It's a little bit new to me, but it feels like a brand new thing because wait till you see the end of this card. I'm also going to make a coordinating envelope in case you are wondering about making square envelopes and making them to match your creation. So, light chipboard embellishments. This is from P13 and this is super flexible, super light, like featherweight light. Now, I think when I think of chipboard, I think, like wood, I guess, and a little bit heavier, but these are so light, so flexible, can be easily cut with scissors. Like much easier to cut than even a pipe cleaner. Those fuzzy little sticks with the wire in the middle? Much easier to cut than those. This is amazing. This is really fun. But the best part is there are so many of these on clearance at scrapbook.com for around a third or so of their price. I have been in stocked up. They are on clearance. There's lots of different designs. I will link lots of them below. I'm going to get more than one card out of this. And then when I was looking at the packaging, it has this gorgeous wood print packaging, and I was like, I love it when companies do that. I love it when companies make sure that their packaging is usable or reusable as well, as much as can be. So I love that. Right, now I'm coming to cut these. I'm just using my little cutter bee scissors. I have gone through with a pencil and kind of marked where I wanted to cut. As I said, I'm going to get more than one design out of these, and I think this is just a really fun element. I mean, I'm just using them in their natural state, but wait until we add things to them, add color to them, add texture paste to them, I don't know, I'm excited. I mean, you could print with these first, do some prints with them, use these on your jelly plates, all sorts, and then use them on a card after that. So lots and lots of different options. Now, I think I made my card base around 5 by 5 inches for this one. That was just a pre-made card base that I had, well, not pre-made, but I had made it previously and then popped it to the side. So I try and make sure I use up those. This is going to work perfectly. You can just see I'm going through and kind of snipping these so they're relatively where I want them to be. I am also just rubbing off any pencil marks that were there, but keep these little pieces. Keep the little excess pieces that we ended up cutting off because I'm going to show you what they are good for. Now, this is I think this is called Time to Relax. Now, I don't know why this is the 6 by 6. The 12 by 12 version is just as gorgeous, and this is just my kind of thing. Sometimes, every now and then, I talk about having to get a new product or a couple of new products, whether that be stamps or a paper pad, and it just really inspires me, and that's how I felt today. So I don't often buy new paper pads, to be honest. I probably have about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 down in my little collection, and that's pretty much what I like to keep. I like to make sure that I use up and use through them before I go ahead and purchase another one, and it was time for me to purchase one. This one is stunning. I believe it's still available. It may have been sold out a little while ago, but I think it's been restocked. So anyway, as usual, I will leave links to everything down below, but the chipboard, that is something, if you haven't played with this, I highly recommend it. And I will link this one and some other ones that are down below. As I said, they're on clearance, so they're not going to be there forever. But yeah, really good value in my opinion. Super easy to work with, which was what I was wondering when I purchased this one. So I just purchased one because I wasn't sure, and I had to play with it, and then I've just kind of fallen in love. So fun. Now here is where I'm questioning which pattern I should use for the other half. I just wasn't sure where I wanted to go with this. I have left a tiny little border and I decided to go with this floral pattern. I love these paper pads that have some solids and some patterns. So, these floral patterns are beautiful and busy, and then you have sort of solids to kind of calm them down and just, equalize things a little bit. So I have just put 2 very simple triangles, got some double-sided tape on the back, used my little tab method to make sure they are nice and straight, and I've got an even border all around. And then at this point, this is where I'm going to bring in the chipboard. and pop this down on the solid side. Now I have adhered this with some liquid glue. Inside this glue bottle is just the Ranger Multi-Medium in the matte finish, and this is just going to make sure that this is not ever going to move. I probably could have used double-sided tape or something, but that felt like more work trying to get this on the little chevron, the little zigzag pattern. So for me, liquid glue was perfect. I can dab this on, and this is just so easy. It fits nicely in my little space. And then just wait until we kind of take this the next bit. So this is, again, just one of the pages from the paper pad. I'm going to cut out this already gorgeous little floral arrangement here. This is perfect for a sentiment. All I need to do is stamp in it, and that's basically exactly what I'm going to do. But I have a little trick to show you, because obviously I have added a little bit of dimension with my chipboard. So we need to work out how to do that. For this, I mean, just look how perfectly that goes in the middle. I think this is just so easy. This is just the easiest card to put together. And in fact, when I put this in my little stash, I was very tempted to say, no, I'm going to hold this one and use this one for me for later whenever I need to send a card. But alas, this one has already gone. Now, this set from Waffle Flower, this is perfect, because look how many of these sentiments fit nicely in here. And then when I went back and had a look at the other ones that I could have used, the other little background things, there was heaps of them, and they all kind of fit. So I love it when a stamp set kind of fits in with a different product. But I'm just going to stamp this so simple in some black VersaFine Onyx black ink. This is a pigment ink. It stamps beautifully, and that means there is no need for me to use a stamping platform or something where I might need to re-ink. I just hold it down for a minute to make sure I've got good contact, and then lift it up, and we have a brilliant, perfect impression. This is going with a happy birthday card, just the classic, because I find that this is pretty much my most popular. Now, this is where I want to adhere this down. So we have two different levels on the card because of the chipboard that I used. So at this point, I was like, okay, well, I cut off some of those bits earlier. What better to make an equal amount of thickness than to use what I cut off? So waste not, want not. I'm going to adhere I've just put down some double-sided tape, and then I'm going to adhere all those little bits of wooden chipboard that we cut off, because I was looking at my foam tape and it wasn't the same thickness as the chipboard. Now, of course, there's lots of different ways around this. I could have just gone with it. It probably would have been absolutely fine. I could have used paper or cardstock to build up the levels, but what better to use than the actual wooden parts themselves? So that way I just have to have one half with the little extra wooden pieces on it, and then the other corner, the other triangle, is just liquid glue, because that's already up on top of the chipboard. Now this is gorgeous, utterly gorgeous. It has a little bit of dimension to it. It is extremely lightweight. I could say this is barely any heavier than any of the cards that I make. It is not heavier at all. So this is stunning, but I am going to make a personalized envelope just because how easy, how easy. And I really wanted to do a little something. Now, this one here, I believe this may be discontinued already. I just got this, but I think it's discontinued. But I love this because if you search it on the internet somewhere, it may come up for sale still. I'm not sure. But anyhow, it's just these gorgeous sort of almost neutral patterns, you know, not too in your face, but they have this gorgeous gold shimmer. And I know it's kind of hard for me to capture here, but shimmery, just sort of a gentle shimmer. And these are sort of neutral patterns, I would say, that I could use for any occasion and backgrounds. And in this case, I'm going to use it for the envelope. This one here is stunning. I love these. You could cut out these individual flowers. And again, on this packaging here, the very back page that you just saw, the pink one, it's actually the packaging of the product, but they've made it a beautiful watercolor kind of background piece of paper so that we can use that as well. Again, I love these companies who are using their kind of packaging. So it's the back cardboard that supports all of the cardstock inside, and it's that gorgeous pink watercolor background. I can use that in so many things. So all I'm doing here is taking a strip of my 12 by 12, And this is going to be a little bit hard to see. I actually have full videos on how to make envelopes for everything and anything, whether it be slimline, whether it be square, whether it be regular. And I will link that video down below. It's a really, really quick and easy video. You know how I like to do things in this crafting world. Now, I have just taken a piece of cardstock, and all I'm doing is however wide my card is, so my card in this case is 5 inches wide, I have made this 5.5 inches wide, because then I score a 1/4 inch in on both sides, on both of the long sides, and then I score at 5 1/4 from the bottom. So that kind of creates my little envelope. Now when this kind of all comes together, you'll see the gist of it. On the top bit, it doesn't matter whether you do this on the top or the bottom, it's neither here nor there. I snip off one side. This is just where I've scored, so this is the 1/4 inch in, just on the sides. And then all we're going to do, you can see the envelope sort of starting to form. I fold in these little side flaps. This creates the pocket for the envelope. For just easy access of getting the card out, I like to just freehand that little sort of dip there that goes at the top of the envelope so that someone can get their fingers in to pull the card out. But you can also use a circle punch and kind of do the half circle. I've seen that looks stunning too. But for me, I'm just whizzing around with my scissors. I put some double-sided tape on each one of those little flaps. Now I've just laid this out flat, so it's easy for me to put the double-sided tape on. You can use liquid glue. I always get afraid of it kind of squidging out and shutting the envelope on the inside, so I just use some double-sided tape, fold up the little envelope here, and then this is kind of just so easy. I love easy, quick, and simple. Now we've started the envelope. It's looking good so far. There's heaps of room for me to put my card on the inside, and I am going to just sort of round the corners again. You might have a really nice scoreboard. I know there's envelope maker scoreboards out there and all sorts of beautiful things. I just like to quickly whip around the corners, round them off. You could use a corner rounder as well. And then from here, I like to just fold it down so it's kind of ready to go. I also put a piece of double-sided tape along the top so that whoever is going to send this envelope just has a way of kind of quickly, taking off that release paper and sealing the envelope rather than having to find their own sticky tape or, some way to close it. So I just leave that on for when the recipient goes to use it. And then the card fits really nicely in and out, and I just want to make sure it kind of goes in smoothly, and you can see that it's nice and easy to kind of pick it in and out, so that's good. Just checking, because I never want to make it like an ultra mission for the person to get the envelope, to get the card out. And then at this point, I love that it's got the colour on the inside, that gorgeous little pattern, but I thought I had this leftover piece from the paper pad that I was working with. And I will admit that I'm not very careful. I don't love measuring things. So I just saw the perfect opportunity here to kind of make my envelope match. I have this piece left over from what I cut. So I just cut off a strip that was, roughly about going to be a smidge bigger than what the flap of the envelope was going to be. Then I just used some liquid glue, because this way I can just sort of, wiggle it around till it's in the right place-ish. I could have used double-sided tape, but that probably means I need to be more precise with my placement, and I didn't trust myself for that. This is 2 nice cardstocks being used, so they are not going to buckle or anything. They're a decent weight, and then I just leave it on there for just a few seconds to make sure that it is sort of, not going to wriggle around and that it's well set. And then I just take my little cutter bee scissors, and I'm just going to whip around the outside to make sure that it follows the outline of the envelope I already have. And then that way we have a coordinating envelope and a gorgeous card. I think this was unbelievably simple, but one of my favorites that I've created. I love this. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you've done with the lightweight chipboard. Have you used it before? Is it something you're interested in? What do you use it for? I'm loving it. So I am going to pop on and order a few more of these. I just had so much fun. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this video too. I will leave links below to the products, and I will definitely leave links to all these clearance items while they last. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.